Yes, hello everybody. This is Ray from Race United, and I'm back again. You know how I do my things. Listen, um, something has been brought to my attention of late. I've been thinking whether or not to release a video about it. How is it going to be received? I'm like, I don't care about the reception of it. What I have to think about is the well-being of some pioneers, and including myself as well. I have to include myself, and because obviously at times, as a content creator, you do come under a bit of scrutiny, and when that happens, your wherewithal will be tested. And I can say yes, mine was tested a few weeks back, and I've withstood the test of times. But some people haven't been able to, so I have to be their voice and try to speak for them. So what I'm trying to say is that in the next few segments, which means the next few minutes, I will be discussing something which might be sensitive to some people, but it has to be said. And when you have the platform, you want to speak or let the people speak through you. And so let's just say this is not me that's speaking, even though it's my voice, it's what I've heard and what people have said to me that I'm actually relaying to you. All right. So after the tune, the very, very, very good tune, I'm going to elaborate more on what I mean. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. This is Ray from Race United. And as you can see on your screen right there, it says the abuse must stop. Yes, it must stop. So I'm going to use my platform to actually try. This is all I'm good. That's all I can do. Try to ensure that the so-called abuse, the apparent abuse, could be curtailed. And to do that, I need all of you. We need each other to curve that or to curb that, whatever word that is. That word confuses me a lot, but we can do that. I want positivity. I want people to understand that the goal is very much the same. We're traveling in different directions, but we're heading to the same destination, which is the promised land. And what is the promised land? The promised land is pi is the universally used currency globally. That's all we want, right? Now, to do that, it will take time, it will take patience, it will take wisdom and knowledge all put together as one for us to get there. So if somebody, especially during this enclosed network that we're in, begins to tout certain figures and somebody doesn't agree with them, we can civilly say, all right, yeah, what you're saying, you need to explain to me as to why I should accept the value you're touting, be it low or relative high. We can look at both sides and see, why do we have to accept that? Why don't we have to accept that? Why do we have to accept that? Why don't we have to accept that? So we look at that and we're like, all right, let's try and see what we can do about it. But when you have the case where somebody is trying to abuse the other, now, I am here just speaking on behalf of all the complaints I've had from fellow pioneers. Their voices are not heard because nobody is listening to them, and people are just saying all they want to say, various things to them. So I've had a few abuse here and there, but I don't really care about that anymore because I know it comes with the territory. But I'm here for the others, the ones that can't speak, the one whose voices can never be heard by anybody apart from people around them. I'm here for those people, and they've complained to me, and I thought, and the queries and the complaints are very much similar. So I thought I would take the opportunity to do this. And in the next segment, I'm going to explain the reasons why, we can't be abusive to one another. We can't. So we should try our best not to be abusive. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. This is Ray from Race United. Now listen. So As you can see from the caption here, I'm saying any price is acceptable in the enclosed network. Any price is acceptable in the enclosed network. Why am I saying that? Why? Somebody would ask, what's Ray talking about? Now, in the enclosed network, we are trading amongst ourselves or between ourselves. If you're two people, between yourselves. If you're so many people, amongst yourselves. Now, when you're doing that, you agree on price amongst yourself, between yourself, whatever context. You agree on price. So when you agree on price, it's between you two or between the groups you're in. So somebody else can't come from somewhere and say, why did you accept that price? Why are you accepting, why are you valuing your pie at such price? Now that's prerogative, right? If somebody says I value my pie at $1, there's nothing you can do about that. That's what they value their pie at, because they want to sell whatever it is they're selling. So if he says, I'm selling this cup, for instance, at $1 per pie, I'm selling it for 5 pie, it means you're buying it at 5 pie. You understand? So that's what it is, right? If that person says they're selling this sellotape here, they're selling this sellotape here at 0.1 pie for $1, then it means, and he says he's selling it for $10, it means you have to pay 1 pie for that. Do you understand? So that's what it is. It's let me see if I got the arithmetic right. 0.1 pie for $1. Yeah, that's 1 pie for $10. So he's selling it for $10, so it's 1 pie. So it all depends on the consensus, but that will not determine anything. That is just when we're doing our transactions in the enclosed network, and then that's when the Pi ecosystem will be flourished with utilities, and so our marketplace will be flooded by all these utilities from all angles. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna happen, and some people are gonna be satisfied, some are not gonna be satisfied. However the case, don't be abusive on anybody if you deem their price extortionate or too low. No, don't be. Don't be. You can be opinionated about it in a very civilized way, to say, listen, I don't agree with it. And if you don't agree with it, you don't have to buy with it. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to trade with them. And if it's too high, you say it's too high. If it's too low, you say it's too low. It all depends. You know what I mean? But me, what I would say is I'm actually waiting to see if the so-called 314159 price would have some things sold at that price per pie. So if 1 pie is that, and they're selling something, I would see if I'll be able to acquire stuff at that price. If merchants would want to sell their goods or even services at that price. And if that's the case, I will be the first in queue to want to buy that, of course, because then it's relatively cheap, isn't it, for my pie? So it's good, right? And then if somebody is selling, let's say, for instance, somebody's selling a standing fan for 10 pie, which means they're selling it at a value of, for instance, $2 per pie or something, and which means the fan is 10 pie will be what, $20, and so that's the cost of the fan. I may say, yeah, well, I'm not gonna use 20 pie to buy that because I value my pie at such and such amount. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what it is. You negotiate, right? You negotiate, and then of course you come to a consensus. Now, one thing that people should understand is there is no such thing as a global consensus, because that can't happen. Unfortunately, that can't happen. People have put in that phrase everywhere, global consensus. That cannot happen, because globally, some might accept, some might not accept. So how is it going to be global? This is not some democracy that we're living in that people are going to say majority carries the vote. No, that's not how it's going to be determined. You get what I'm saying? So in the enclosed network, we will see how it goes. But if the 3414159 price that's been touted, if that gains ground, then I know I'll save a lot more pie. So I'll be happy to buy stuff at that price. I will not sell stuff at that price, of course. That's me. I won't. But to buy, of course I would. And that's what it is. Because if I'm selling, I'll sell it for, something else, something much, 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 much lower. So in case pie goes up, I gain. You want to gain, right? You don't want to lose eventually, isn't it? So that's the whole point. And so definitely any price is acceptable in the enclosed network. Remember that. Now, in the open network, it's something else. I'm going to talk about that. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. This is Ray from Race United. Now, listen. So, all changes in the open network. So, the open network is totally different. It's different from the enclosed network. Now, in the enclosed network, if you look at the other segment, what did I say? I said any price is acceptable, right? Any price is acceptable in the enclosed network. I explained a bit there. Now, when you go into the open network, not all the changes happen there because the price is going to be one price. And how is that determined? You understand? How is that determined? So that will be determined by a few factors. So you have what we've locked up, boom, that's gone. So that's caused a scarcity already. And then what else? We have our market cap, boom, that's right there. And then we have our circulation. So the number of pi in circulation, which would be the divisor of everything. So market cap or market value divided by the number of circulation or number of pi circulated, and that will give us our value. So the circulation number is what I spoke about in my previous live show, that we want the circulation number to be somewhat around the maximum 2 billion. If I had the best case scenario, I would say minimum 500 million and maximum 2.5 billion. So circulation of pi. If we can do that, or if that can happen, we're not in control of it, of course, but if that can happen, then pi may start somewhere at $50, $100 or something, So we would see, depending on the market cap, and that's on condition that the market cap could be around minimum of $100 billion, So we need to create that ecosystem to have a flow of currency. You understand what I'm saying? If we have a flow of currency, then we wouldn't have any problems whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? So all changes in the open network. In the enclosed network, of course, it is any price acceptable. In the open network, it is only one price, and that is never determined by the consensus in the enclosed network. It will be determined by how much pi is in circulation and the market cap or market value. Those confuse me a little bit, so we'll see. I'll work it out later on and give it to you. So yeah, that is what you guys should understand. You should understand that and not confuse it for anything. Therefore, the abuse must stop. Please don't abuse anybody if they have a different price as yours, because these are the things that would happen. People need to understand it. They shouldn't. Now, this one I would say, by entreating you, try not to abuse anybody just because their price is different from yours. Please, it is not worth it. How would you feel when a CAM open network, the price you've been touting, will be nowhere near what we have, and then somebody else touted it, you fought them verbally or fought them using social media, and then eventually they actually, so to speak, are right. You don't want that. So at the end of the day, nobody can predict it. We can only try. Nobody can accurately predict the price of pi. We can only try during the enclosed network to, trade amongst ourselves, enjoy it. At the end of the day, you didn't buy the pi, you mined it. So it's been refined for us now, so we can use it. Do you understand? So let's all enjoy using our pi, whatever's left of it. If you've locked up much of it, whatever is left of it, make use of it, enjoy it, and let others also enjoy what they have. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I would just say the abuse should stop, and therefore, just bear in mind that any price is acceptable in the enclosed network. And I'll repeat, any price is acceptable in the enclosed network, and in the open network, everything changes, of course, because it will only be one price, which may fluctuate or may not fluctuate. If we have a strong ecosystem and we rely on it a lot, then we know that we have a fallback plan. So we're not so bothered about what happens on the crypto exchanges. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, I'll be right back for the conclusion. All right, I'm back with the conclusion. Now, listen, in conclusion, all I can say is I said so much. I don't want to say anymore. All I can say is stop the abuse. Let people be agree to disagree, and let them, just live their lives, because at the end of the day, we are um we are heading in the same, not the same direction, we're heading to the same destination. The directions might be different, but the destination is the same. You get what I'm saying? So nobody should abuse the other, thinking that, what they're saying doesn't make any sense to them, therefore they're wrong, the others are right. There is no right or wrong here. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. You get what I'm saying? We're all fighting for the same thing, so any price is acceptable, like I said. And in the open network, so it will only be one price. Okay, so that's that for that. The name is Ray. The channel is Ray's United. And the word is peace.